With the 2020 Smart China Expo Online only a few days away, iChongqing scheduled a series of online interviews with tech experts, corporate senior executives, and foreign consulate officials to discuss issues around smart industries in the city and the world. Joining today's online interview is award-winning Singaporean entrepreneur, former naval officer, director, and co-founder of Juice Corporation, Mr. Stephen Yoon. Hi, Stephen Yoon. Thanks for accepting this interview with us.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, I'm going to ask you a few questions about your company and the Smart China Expo. So first, could you please give us a brief introduction to your company and its operations in Chongqing?
Okay, we are a education technology company. We develop education software games for children, teaching children fundamental digital literacy skills, basically critical thinking, how to use the internet. But we are unique because we are using a game app to teach. So I think we are one of the first in the world to actually develop sort of a wholly app product for schools to teach children at the age of kindergarten age. So most of the other products they can only start from 7 years old. So ours is unique because we can start from 5. And we are not in Chongqing yet, but we're in China. Basically, we are started in Zhuhai, Guangdong area. And basically this year we are trying to move to Sichuan. And Chongqing is obviously one of the big markets that we are looking at.
So what kind of age group are you aiming at?
It was between 5 to 7, basically kindergarten age group. Yeah.
So I see you're very involved in education in your career before. You are very interested in this area. Could you please tell us why you are so passionate about education?
Actually, my passion in education, I lived in China for 12 years. My first edtech startup was actually in China. And we sort of teach English to children. And one of the projects that I went to was we actually brought our program to a village in Guangdong province in the rural mountainside. And basically we gave them our program to use. And after 1 month, when I went there to visit, I saw that the children could speak English better than me. So I was really touched, and I decided, okay, I think education is something that I want to pursue. And I have done many startups before, but I think education is probably it's the toughest, but most fulfilling, because you can see the children when they learn something, they really they really absorb at that age. So that kid I saw, he was pronouncing cats and dogs in a British accent better than me. So I was really amazed. I think that's why, and obviously China, the education space is very big. There are a lot of children here, and that's why we want to come to China to bring our education software to Chinese children.
Wow, that's a very inspiring story. So do you have any expectations for this year's Smart China Expo? And what kind of opportunities do you think you can bring to your company and the industry as a whole?
Actually, in Chongqing, there are a couple of Singapore kindergarten. I think there's a couple. I think so. I think the Singapore brand in Chongqing, in Sichuan province, is very well respected. And we hope to bring our Singapore software to Chongqing children. I think Chongqing is a big market. And I think the consumers they want new products. So we hope that we can make a first start in Sichuan province through Chongqing this year.
Have you ever been here in Chongqing before?
Actually, my wife is from Sichuan.
Wow.
Yeah, so from Luzhou. So I have been to Chongqing once or twice, but I haven't been for the last 5 years. And I know that Chongqing development has taken off very well. And I think there are lots of children here, and really I think it's an interesting market, because actually Chinese consumers are very more adventurous. Chinese parents especially, they are more adventurous compared to maybe even Singapore or Western parents. Like for example, most Singapore preschool, kindergarten, they don't have internet. They don't use the phone or tablet. Not like in China, right? That's the difference. Actually, China is very, very far ahead in terms of adoption of new technology.
So what's your impression of China, and how would you describe the differences and similarities between China and Singapore in education?
Okay, I think China, to be fair, okay, maybe if you say 10 years ago, maybe Singapore is ahead of China in terms of education. But I think today, in terms of adoption of education technology, technology like AI, like online learning, like using phones to learn, China is much ahead. China is in fact I think China is leading in the world. So Singapore is still, I think, a couple of years behind China. And that's why it's exciting for us because our product is also very is cutting edge. That's why we want to bring this product to China. Yeah.
Your company is coming to this year's Smart China Expo, right? So in
Yes,
what kind of role? Singapore had been highly involved in the 2 editions of Smart China Expo. This year, Singapore is co-hosting Smart China Expo. So, what role do you think play in accelerating regional cooperation between Chongqing and Singapore? Could you maybe elaborate on that?
Yeah, I think from the perspective of education, I think education, especially at the young age, I think if we can bring Singapore's education software to Chinese children, especially at young age, I think there's a lot of they can learn about Singapore, they can learn about our software, how we teach. I think that's at the youngest age, it starts the foundation for further the closer cooperation between the two countries. And especially, I think education is a very good channel to grow a personal relationship. Because through education we learn about each other.
So, what's the next step for your company here in China and Chongqing?
I think the next step, actually, we are going to send a person. We're going to send a person from our company to be based in Sichuan or Chongqing. This is in 2021, next year. So this conference is to look at the opportunity, and then we are actually going to base somebody and open an office in Sichuan province in Chongqing next year. Yeah.
So is there going to be 2 headquarters in Sichuan and Chongqing, or just one?
Only one headquarters in Chongqing.
Only one in Chongqing.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to say?
I think it's the first time that I'm taking. To be fair, it's the first time we are doing it online. It's the first time doing a virtual conference. I think because of COVID, we cannot come to Chongqing to put our physical store. So it's also the first time to hopefully, it's interesting to interact with potential business partner online. And it's something very interesting. I think the world is changing again, like education, right? Nowadays, kids learn online through video, with the American teachers and British teachers. So I think adults now have to learn how to interact and have a virtual booth in this conference. I think it should be very successful. Yeah.
So is video conference also a tool in your company as a means of education?
Yes, when we deal with overseas customers, but not in Singapore, not Singapore customers. Singapore is very small, so a lot of the technology, the usage of education technology is still behind China. Most of the schools here, the children are not used to learning online versus Chinese children. Yeah.
So would you say that COVID-19 actually has kind of been an advantage to online education?
Yes, definitely. I think COVID. Okay, I think the education system in the world needs to change, but without the technology, you cannot. Right? If you have no internet in your school, you cannot do online learning. So I think COVID sort of pushed compressed the time frame. So basically, people who want schools who don't have internet, next year they will have, because there's no choice, right? Before they can say they don't need internet, they don't need to have children with tablets. But after this COVID, everybody will be getting online. I think that's good for education, and that's good for the children.
So yeah. I think that should conclude today's interview. And thanks again to Mr. Yoon for agreeing to do this online interview with us. Looking forward to see your company's presence at the Smart China Expo.
Okay, thank you very much.